It's very important to keep yourself updated on the different changes on UK immigration rules, so you know which of the changes affect you on your current visa and how some of those policies is going to affect you on your future application. So that's what I want to share with you, that the UK Labour Abuse Authority have decided to prioritize investigation on the visa fraud currently happening in the UK under the health and care sector. And it's really sad because after this investigation is completed, so many people on the health and care visa will be affected, because the moment the sponsor's license is revoked, it directly affects those who are on the skilled worker visa or the health and care visa under that particular sponsor. Now listen to what the senior investigating officer of the Labour Abuse Authority has to say.
Of exploiting workers.
The sole purpose of these criminals is to use these people as cash cows. They are running businesses at a much reduced cost because they're not paying them what they're supposed to. It is our #1 priority at the moment.
The government insists companies operating unlawfully may face prosecution and removal from the sponsorship register. Many in the care sector believe urgent reform is needed to protect workers and the vulnerable people they look after.
A lot of people who are victims of the visa fraud in the health and care sector have been crying for help in every possible way they can. There's so many people coming from their home country into the UK through the health and care visa route, and on getting here, they're struggling. Many of them have to borrow money, many of them have to sell properties back home in their home countries, and now they're in the UK planning to work so they can sort out those debts, only for them to get into the UK and there's practically nothing for them to do in relation to working and making ends meet. So even making savings to sort out those debts becomes very much impossible. So that's why, because of their cry for help, this information has finally reached the media and also the UK government. And one thing about the UK is nobody's going to investigate a situation except there's a cry for help, except there's a need for them to investigate. And it's really sad that the UK Labour Abuse Authority have decided to investigate this issue, and a lot of people are going to be affected. Now let's listen to the audio while I share with you my thoughts on how you can avoid, if you're in that situation, what you need to do immediately, and everything you need to make sure you put into place before the UK Home Office decide to put a strict measure into play. So listen to the backstory of the previous video you just watched.
Are abusing the visa system that was designed to allow carers to be recruited from abroad, resulting in constant allegations of fraud and modern slavery. The concerns have led to a nationwide investigation into care agencies operating illegally, as our communities correspondent Becky Johnson now reports.
They provide a lifeline for vulnerable people, and a shortage of carers in Britain means staff are needed from abroad. But Sky News can reveal widespread visa fraud and a nationwide investigation into modern slavery in the care sector. In northwest England, we found migrants knocking on care home doors, desperate for a job.
We are looking for a work permit, like most of the care homes giving work permit or jobs.
Inside, staff didn't want to be identified, but told us they're constantly being contacted by companies they've never heard of, offering them carers.
We probably get about 4 or 5 calls a day asking if we need any agency staff. And a lot are now phoning and offering that they'll do a free shift.
And in terms of the knocks on the door from people asking for work, how often is that?
2 or 3 times a day, I'd say.
It's happening because some companies are illegally charging for work visas and then failing to provide jobs. This woman, who we're calling Mary, paid £4,000 to an agent in the north of England for a certificate of sponsorship for a full-time job as a carer. It was only after she arrived from the Philippines in July that she realised she'd been conned. Have they given you any work?
No, even single day of work they couldn't provide, they didn't give us.
Visa rules mean she's only allowed to work full-time for her sponsor, and any part-time work has to also be in care. So like the people we saw knocking on doors, she's also been approaching care homes.
Do you feel trapped?
Yeah.
Could you go back?
No, I couldn't. I spent a lot of money and my family doesn't know my situation here, and I don't want to tell them. They will be upset.
She's scared of the consequences of reporting her sponsor, which is why we're not naming the company. But it's one of several apparently fake agencies set up since February 2022, when the government began allowing carers in on skilled worker visas.
So I think it's very, very close to people trafficking.
This care home owner in Milton Keynes had to pause overseas recruitment after finding out an agent he'd paid had also illegally charged a worker for her visa. What sort of sums of money are we talking about?
So the recruiter's getting £30,000 to bring somebody over. So actually it's probably more than the transporters are getting for the rubber dinghies coming across the channel.
A major investigation is now underway into multiple care agencies suspected of being established with the intention.
It's really sad, despite the awareness we put on YouTube here to make sure people make informed decisions. It's so sad that even of recent, people are still making the same error of, paying each sum of money to get sponsorship and get stuck when they get into the UK. However, some people just make honest mistake and probably, get stuck with an employer that, got the license to make money while they had no job to offer people. So that's why I'm going to tell you, if you're currently in a situation, you're with an employer that is not giving you any job, you're not making any, ends meet through that particular employer. If you're in the health and care sector, I'm going to advise you, try and start pushing applications towards the NHS. Now, I tell people NHS is the most trusted employer in the United Kingdom because there will always be something for you to do. If there's no job in the trust you have, they'll probably move you to another trust where there's a job because they have to pay you even if they don't have a job, and they'll always find a way around that. So if you're currently with any private employer who has no shift, who has no job for you, it's high time you applied to the NHS and start pushing an application. I've got lots of people on my one-to-one who have been able to get a lot of offers through the NHS and they're doing well. Although some of those contracts might be a bit tricky, you probably need to work for 3 years, but who cares? You're planning to work on the health and care visa for 5 years anyway, so you can be able to apply for your indefinite leave to remain. So it's high time people need to start applying to the NHS so that they can switch employer as soon as possible. You don't want to get stuck and probably after this investigation the UK Home Office decided to withdraw sponsorship, which is already happening. I've made a couple of videos to keep people informed on this channel about this. So if the UK Home Office decided to withdraw sponsorship, withdraw your sponsor's license, it affects everyone on that particular sponsor. So I know that's why most people that are in this situation can't even report to the Home Office because the process of them getting the job was not even legal in the first place, paying each sum of money to get the certificate of sponsorship. So they can't even report because meant to report your sponsor gets investigated, his license or her license get revoked, and you also lose your own visa. So people are really scared of even reporting to the Home Office. Some can't even travel back to their to their country because they are scared. What if they're trying to get back into the country and they raise a red flag on them and they have to go back home? So yeah, it's really ridiculous, but yeah, that's really the only thing you can do. If you're single, just try and make sure you get another job as soon as possible. Start applying now because it takes a long time to get an interview, get a job, and all of those processes can take a while. So try as much as possible to get that into play as soon as possible. And if you've got a partner, it makes it easier for you. Both of you start looking for a job. Let your wife or your husband start applying for jobs that can sponsor so you can also switch visa. It's sad, but really that's the sincere reality. And since the Labour Abuse Authority has decided to take up this investigation, and according to their senior investigating officer, it's a top priority for them, then if you know your employer is not a properly licensed employer who has no shift, who has no business, then you need to start applying for another job as soon as possible. If you have any thoughts around this, please state in the comment section. If you have any question, please also state in the comment section. And if you find this video resourceful and informative, please click the like button. And also, if you're coming across this channel, hit the subscribe button to join the amazing growing family. And my returning subscribers, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So this will be the end of this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.